Shivaya, Om Nirudeshwari. My pranams to one and all present here. I welcome one and all present here for the seminar organized by the Commerce Department. Amma says, education should spread light within and without, instill awareness and strengthen the deep bond between the student and his nation, the world, his fellow human beings and other creatures, nature and God. Pranams to Amma. My salutations to the Swami Amma, Mukta Amrita Prana. My pranams to AD Sir, Sri Kadapati Pillai. And I also feel highly privileged to welcome our Principal Sir, Sri S. Nedimaran, who is very much concerned about this program. The master brain behind this seminar organization is our Principal Sir. I warmly welcome you, sir. I extend my heartfelt welcome to all the administrators who are the guiding pillars of this institution. And also, I am very happy to welcome the teachers present here and the students. The students for whom the presentation has been organized. Because Sir was highly concerned about giving more knowledge-based inputs to the children, because due to pandemic situation, you have missed out a lot of qualitative time at school. So we thought about have a humble beginning through this seminar presentation. Now, as you know, that the topic is on analysis of the Union Budget 2022. And before the commencement of this seminar presentation, I would like to share a few points regarding budget. As you, maybe 11th and 12th are somewhat aware about the budget. So 9th standard, as you all people are quite new to this budget topic, I would like to say that technically speaking, budget means it is the annual estimation of the estimated of planned revenue and expenditure of the government during a fiscal year. Fiscal year means it is technically calculated from April 1st to March 31st. That is the financial year, fiscal year, as far as economics is concerned. Now, when we simplify, or to put it in a simple way, budget means, as you know, that at household level, at individual level, hope you would have seen your parents planning the budget at home, like monthly expenditure based on the income from various sources. And if there is any shortage, we go for borrowing or adjusting with the past savings, like that. So similarly, like this at the national level, considering all the resources, it is planned at the central and the state level by the respective finance ministries. Now, in Article 112, revenue and expenditure of the government during a fiscal year. Now, coming to the presentation. Officially, it will be presented by the Finance Minister, and recently on February 1st, Nirmala Sitharaman, our Finance Minister, Union Finance Minister, presented the budget in the Parliament, and it was a highly progressive and forward-looking budget, and she quoted specifically her words goes like this: drawing the wisdom from the ancient text, from our ancient text, we are continuing on the path to progress. And it is 100% true, because her announcement focused on all sectors. Her budget presentation is inclusive of all the sectors, which has been planned in such a way to revive the economy and ensure growth and progress within the next few years. And recently, an interview was given by our Finance Minister in one of the leading channels, and she was very emphatically quoting that India is the fast developing economy. So when we saw this budget presentation, a tagline was attached to the poster related to current union budget, that India at 75, very soon to India at 100. That means we can very confidently trust upon our Finance Minister regarding the progress and the growth of our economy. Now, before the students start the presentation, let me brief you how to very 4 points the children have prepared. It will be presented to you, and in the course of presentation, technical terms also will be explained by the respective presenters. Okay. Now, Regarding the first, as I said, initial part, they will be focusing on the core part or main content of the budget details. And second half, they will be presenting in an analytical way. That is, what are the main aspects of the budget, how it will be benefiting the people, different sectors, and who are directly benefited. Okay. Then, towards the end of the presentation, they have organized a short quiz program to test your understanding. How many of you have listened to the seminar? To make the session more interactive, we have organized a short quiz program. We expect your 100% participation and cooperation. Let us move on to the presentation. I call upon Jayashree to start the program.
We, the common students of Amrita and Ettimadai, here to discuss the budget of the year 2022 and 23. As it is rightly said, today's act has impact on tomorrow. It is important to have a clear idea on budget as it reveals future prospective opportunities to every sector of the economy. The verses of Purananuru, where Pisarandaya give a piece of advice to Pandiyan Aripure Nambi is not one. The verses are தாயினேல் நறுத்து கவனம் கொளினோ மானினேக இலதும் பன்னாட்கு ஆகும் 100 செல்லாயினும் தவித்து புத்துணினே வாய் புகுவதெனும் காய் பெரிது கெடுக்கும். It means that a few mouths of rice harvested from small plot of land is sufficient for an elephant. But what happens if the elephant itself enters into the field and starts eating? It will eat far lesser than what it will trample under its foot. So, there is need for a budget which helps in distributing the available resources to every sector of the economy. Now, my friends will explain the budget in detail.
First, let us start by knowing the meaning of government budget. What do you mean by a government budget? As Divyamis quoted, it is an annual statement of the estimated receipts and expenditure of the government during a fiscal year. The receipts and expenditure shown in the budget are not the actual figures, but the planned receipts and expenditure for the upcoming fiscal year. A fiscal year is a financial year or an accounting year which is calculated from April 1 to March 31.
Technically, April 1 is the new year for commerce students. Am I right, commerce students?
The budget is presented on February 1st of every year by a finance minister.
Components of government budget. Government budget is divided into revenue budget and capital budget. Revenue budget consists of revenue expenditure and revenue receipts. Capital budget consists of capital expenditure and capital receipts. Revenue receipts are those receipts that do not create any liability, and capital receipts are those receipts that create liability. Next, we are going to see about capital expenditure. Capital expenditure are those expenditure that creates assets. Revenue expenditure are those expenditure that does not create any assets. Revenue receipt is further divided into tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Under tax revenue, we have direct tax and indirect tax. Direct taxes are those taxes which are imposed on individuals' income and property. For example, corporate tax and income tax. Indirect taxes are those taxes which are imposed on goods and services. For example, GST, goods and service tax.
One key takeaway from budget. In the Union Budget 2022 to 2023, our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chose to increase the level of capital expenditure to a historic high for two things. First one, to boost the India's GDP, and second one, to create jobs. What does that mean?
Capital expenditure refers to those expenditure towards creation of assets. For example, construction of roads, railways, etc. It also includes giving money to the state government for construction of rural and urban roads.
The expectation is that high capital expenditure will not only create jobs but also will increase the income. Higher incomes will boost the aggregate demand, that is the total demand of final goods and services. The boosted aggregate demand will make the private firms to invest more. Thus, it starts a virtuous cycle. What is a virtuous cycle? It is the result of each event which will increase the beneficial effect to the next.
Now we are going to see about GDP. Well, do anyone know what is the full form of GDP? Yeah, that's correct. GDP refers to the money value of goods and services that are produced within the domestic territory of a country. India's GDP is estimated to be 9.2%. And about 4.1% of GDP, effective capital expenditure by the government is estimated at rupees 10.68 lakh crore in 2022 to 23.
Now, it's time for us to see what changes have been brought by the budget in the various sectors.
Now we are going to see about agriculture industry. 2.37 lakh crore to be paid on MSP for procurement of wheat and rice. MSP is nothing but minimum support price. Railways to roll out new products for assisting farmers in the crop movement. Focus to increase the production of oilseeds, improving the agro industry.
Secondary sector. Import of certain chemicals like methanol to promote manufacturing are being reduced. Custom duty exemption on steel scrap to be extended for another year for small scale and medium sized businesses. Blended fuels like diesel to get additional duty of rupees 2 per liter starting from October 2022. Custom duty concessions on electronic hearable, wearable and mobile devices.
Finance, insurance and banking. LIC and IPO to roll out soon. Financial assistance worth rupees 1 lakh to be provided to the state governments for to promote the investment. 1.5 lakh post office banks to be included in the formal banking system. 75 digital banks to be set up by the scheduled commercial banks in 75 districts. Surety bonds now substitute for bank guaranteeing government procurements.
Infrastructure and housing. High emphasis on Gati Shakti. Gati Shakti is a program which is a 100 lakh crore project officially launched by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi to develop the infrastructure. 50% of the population shifts from rural to urban areas within the next 25 years with the help of urban planners and urban economists. 48,000 crores allocated for the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is affordable housing for urban and rural poor. 60,000 crores allocated for providing access to tap water in nearly 3.8 crore households. Focus to increase public investment to modernize the infrastructure.
Defense and railways. Government is committed to reduce its defense imports. 68% of the defense sector capital to be utilized by the local industry. 400 new generation Vande Bharat Expresses to be introduced. Vande Bharat Express is also called as Train 18. It is an India's semi-high-speed EMU train. EMU is Electric Multiple Unit. Defense research and development will be open to industries and startups for 25% of the budget amount. Promotion of one railway station and one product system.
Technology and telecom. Task force that is an armed force to promote visual effect, animation, gaming and comic. E-passport to officially launch this year to facilitate the overseas travel to technology. 5G spectrum to be auctioned soon, which has the potential to be 100 times faster than the 4G network. The network of optical fibers to be spread to villages under the BharatNet program, which is a program to provide high-speed network connectivity in rural villages at affordable cost. Digital currency. Digital rupees to be introduced by Reserve Bank of India during this year. Income from the virtual digital assets like cryptocurrency, NFT, etc. to be taxed at 30%. A cryptocurrency is a digital asset which is secured by cryptography and encrypted message that allows for secure online payments.
Before moving to the additional details, we should know what is meant by fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit refers to the difference between total revenue and total expenditure excluding borrowings in a financial year. Financial year is from April 1 to March 31. Proposes fiscal deficit of 4.5% of GDP in 2025 to 26. Project fiscal deficit of 6.4% of GDP in 2022 to 23. Revised fiscal deficit for 2021 to 22 at 6.9% of GDP. Total expenditure in 2022 to 23 seen at 39.45 trillion rupees. Measures taken by Indian government. Rupees goes digital and optimistic fiscal outlook, production-linked incentives, relief for startups, education, e-passports India travels digital, Atmanirbhar Bharat defense, India enters the 5G party, EV driving the future.
Rupees goes digital. The RBI announces the launch of the Central Bank Digital Currency (CBDC), which is a legal tender issued by Central Bank in a digital form. It will launch its blockchain-based digital rupees during this year.
An optimistic fiscal outlook. We all know that what this means by fiscal incentive, but when does it occur? It occurs when government revenue falls short of its expenses, that is government spending. India has aimed to reduce this fiscal deficit from 6.9% in 2021 to 22 to 6.4% in 2022 to 23.
Production-linked incentives. The PLI schemes provide cash incentives to companies for enhancing their domestic manufacturing and improving the cost competitiveness of the local goods. The government will offer PLI schemes in mobile phone manufacturing, semiconductor chips, automobiles, etc. According to the government, these PLI schemes will result in the creation of 60 lakh employment opportunities over the next 5 years.
Relief for startups. In light of the epidemic, the government has declared that tax incentives for startups would be expanded from 3 to 4 years after the formation.
Education. One class, one TV channel. There is an increase of from 12 to 200 channels only for education. Virtual labs and skilling e-labs to promote critical thinking and to stimulate the learning environment. A digital university to be established with a world-class high-quality education. High-quality e-content to be delivered through digital features.
E-passports India travels digital. E-passports with embedded chips would be introduced this year. Radio frequency identification and biometrics is a form of identification and the access control to also be included in these passports.
Atmanirbhar defense. What is Atmanirbhar? It is self-reliance. So, the government has committed to lower the imports and to promote Atmanirbhar in military equipment. Out of the total budget, 13.13%, that is rupees 5.25 lakh crores, has been allocated to the armed forces. 25% of research and development budget is earmarked for private sector. It will lead to flourishing of the Indian defense startups.
India enters the 5G party. The government has announced that 5G spectrum auction will be introduced in 2022, paving way for private companies like Airtel, Jio, Vodafone and Idea for carrying out 5G telecom services. EV driving the future. EV is nothing but electrical vehicles. The government has announced a new battery swapping policy that will encourage the new businesses coming to the market and collaborate with the state government. This boosts the electrification of public companies.
Now we are going to see the items which will become costlier and which will become cheaper due to the budget.
The items which will become cheaper: mobile phones, phone camera, mobile camera lens, clothes, diamonds, leather products, farming tools, chemicals.
Items that will become costlier: loudspeakers, headphones, smart meters, solar products, X-ray machines, signaling equipment, electronic toys.
Now our friend Jayshree will explain about analysis part.
Analysis of government budget. Analysis of government budget is important because only when we know what we have, we will have better idea for its maximum utilization. When we talk about budget, we come across three questions: what, why, and whom. That is, what they have said in budget, why they said so, and it's for whom. Let us discuss these three questions in detail. Before that, there are three sectors in economy, namely primary, secondary, and tertiary. Let us discuss the measures introduced in these three sectors in detail. Primary sectors. In agriculture, they have introduced Kisan loans for farmers, which modernize, increase the efficiency, and increases the profit of agriculture. The loans increases the profit of agriculture as it reduces the cost of production. Reduction in subsidies. Subsidies are the amount given by the government to the farmers for their cultivation. Reduction in subsidies will promote drones in agriculture. If subsidies are reduced, the farmers have less amount to invest in agriculture. As drones reduces the cost of production, farmers will adopt drones rather than any other method of cultivation. Because of these measures in agriculture, at one side, large corporates have been benefited and at another side, affected the small corporates. Secondary sector. Battery swapping technology and 400 Vande Bharat train have introduced to modernize and increase the efficiency of transportation. Fall in the corporate surcharges from 12% to 7% is to encourage the investment in the economy. If the corporate surcharges are reduced, corporates have surplus with them to invest in the economy, which in turn increases the national income. The national income increases on the fact that one man's expenditure is another man's income. If once there is investment in the economy, there will be employment to everyone and government will receive tax. Because of these policies, large corporates and private industries which produces electronic vehicles are benefited. Tertiary sector. 5G technology to promote faster transaction, 200 TV channels for better education system in India, urban planning committee to develop urban areas and digital currency by RBI to digitalize the economy. These policies have benefited private sector companies, urban areas and information have introduced. Government always spends more on defense. It is 32,102 crores for Army, 47,590 crores for Navy, 56,850 crores for Air Force. Apart from this, 1.12 lakh crores has been allocated for Army pension. This budget focuses on self-reliance in defense, new body for private sector tests and certified new equipment is introduced. Increase in artificial intelligence, geospace system, drones and semiconductors bring sustainable development. Villages that share borders with China are developed due to Sino-Indian border dispute. Spending more on research and development is to reduce the foreign dependence on defense equipment. One more important point that we should note in agriculture is that there is decrease in the revenue deficit estimates. Revenue deficit refers to the excess of revenue expenditure over revenue deficit. The revenue deficit has reduced from 11,40,576 crores in 2021 to 9,90,241 crores in 2022. The reasons for decline in revenue deficit estimates are reduction in subsidies. It has reduced the revenue expenditure of the government. Increase in 30% tax on cryptocurrency. It has increased the revenue receipt of the government. Rich and poor. Decrease in the corporate surcharges and decrease in the subsidies have widened the gap between rich and poor. Benefits to Tamil Nadu from the budget 2022 and 23. 400 Vande Bharat trains are designed at Perambur in Chennai, which provides employment opportunities to Tamil Nadu. Urban Planning Committee. There are many urban areas in Tamil Nadu which will be benefited through this budget. 80 lakh houses, employees' contribution to NPS account of state government. There is increase in tax deduction limit from 10% to 14% in employees' contribution to NPS account, that is National Pension Scheme account of state government employees. Connecting the river Krishna, Pennar and Kaveri. If Krishna, Pennar and Kaveri is connected, Tamil Nadu will receive sufficient amount of water. I think no longer there will be dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu on Kaveri issue. Then future prospects. This budget aims to make India a $5 trillion economy. Modernization, urbanization and digitalization are the future benefits of the budget. Now